the most basic element of self-identification for young children. It shapes and informs their sense of self and who they are in the world. It is important for our students to see their families reflected in the world around them, while at the same time seeing the diversity of families that also exists in our communities. In saying that, the structure of the family has never been so diverse. Adoptive families, immigrant families, single-parent households, families with stay-at-home fathers, families with grandparents as parents, and so on. Today, we take a look into the lives of 3 children from one classroom, all with completely diverse family situations, and discover the implications these differences have on their schooling lives and the lives of those around them.
We always wanted children. Our best option was to have artificial insemination. We decided not to know who the father sperm that was being used, so nobody feels left out.
Hi, my name's Barry. I'm in grade 2 and I have 2 dads.
Barry, our son, is a perfectly healthy, normal and intelligent little boy.
We are raising him the best way we know how, just like every other parent in our school community.
We've been so lucky to be a part of this community in that everyone has been so accepting and understanding of our lives, even though they may be a little different than theirs. It is unfortunate that there are some people who aren't as nice, particularly to our son. So, do you think your family is different to your friends' families?
Not really. Some of the other kids think it's weird that I have 2 dads and no mum, but both my dads do exactly the same as a mum would.
Yeah, Barry doesn't even have a mum, and that's just weird.
Not bumping him a little bit while he's doing it.
My best friends, but my dad said I'm not allowed to hang out with him anymore. I don't really know why, but sometimes I still play with him.
Yeah, like I want to play footy with him too, but sometimes the other kids, they just don't let me, so yeah, I just have to deal with it, so yeah.
So, do you think Barry is any different from you boys?
Yeah.
And why is that?
Barry has brown hair and I've got blonde hair.
Barry's a very bright student, but his parents are very involved. They regularly volunteer in the class, and I think the family is an excellent asset to our classroom. Barry is the first student I've had with same gender parents. I must admit I was a little hesitant at first, simply because I'd been brought up strictly Catholic. I'd been taught that homosexuality was a sin and that a child could not be raised of 2 parents of the same gender.
So, how has your experiences with the Brokebacks changed your opinion?
I think my opinion changed as soon as I knew that the Brokebacks were going to be a part of my classroom. I knew that to teach fairly and inclusively I would have to sort of step back from the opinions I already had and be a little more open-minded to it all. Things like Mother's Day, I have to be a little bit more aware that that Barry doesn't have a mother and that he has to be included in the same activities as everybody else. So I really try and make an effort to make him feel welcome and still a member of the classroom regardless of his home life. I felt an obligation to encourage equal love with my students, to teach them about it so that they're aware of our changing society. I keep an eye out for Barry. I know that he can be a target for bullying, and I felt it important that I got to know Barry and his family and the parents to make sure that we could create a well-rounded support system.
In 1982, Rona and Robert Rapports developed 5 aspects of family diversity. They included organizational diversity, cultural diversity, differences in social class, varying life stages, and generational gaps. Another student from the classroom is Apu. Apu's father was born and raised in Indonesia. He can speak very little English.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
It is important to both of us that Apu has experience with and is well informed of both our cultures, and we've made sure that his school is well informed of this.
Nama saya Wilson, umur saya 18 tahun.
The number of students living in bilingual families has definitely risen in the last 5 years. We as a teaching staff are trying to make the transition to English as easy as possible for these children. We've employed specialist teachers in our schools to assist in the ESL students. Some need minimum help, with others they need to be taken out of class and given special English lessons. We also found it very important for our English students that are already in the school to learn about different cultures and religions, because we want to make our school a really inclusive place for students to learn and become better community members.
One of the Ausval standards for Level 4 Civics and Citizenship is that students begin to appreciate the similarities and differences between individuals and groups, including the language, cultural and religious groups which make up the Australian nation. Sally Myers from the Victorian Institute of Teaching believes members of the classroom with multicultural backgrounds create a range of opportunities and such for teaching children and cultural diversity within families.
Australia has always been a multicultural country. We are a nation created from other nations as well as our Indigenous communities. There has been a significant effort by the Victorian Government over the last decade to address issues regarding cultural diversity and multicultural within primary schools. A number of policies have been created to ensure our children are educated about their own and other cultures, that they have respect for all cultures, and that they understand how countries and cultures are related to one another and interrelated into the global environment. Having ESL students or students from multicultural backgrounds provides excellent opportunity for teaching other members of the class, as it makes it very personal and relatable, which makes it easier for the children to understand.
The final student we got to know was Ingrid. She was from a single parent, low income household. Ingrid is currently repeating grade 2 as her poor attendance last year forced the school to decide that she was not prepared to advance to grade 3.
Ingrid has regular sessions with me. She often plays up in class and then is sent to me by her teachers. It's difficult because she often has trouble concentrating in class. She regularly comes to school not having eaten breakfast, and she often has no recess snacks or anything for lunch. She also comes to school very tired, which affects her concentration because the home life that she's living in, often she doesn't get enough sleep that she's required.
Education's just so expensive, you know, like I get Centrelink every Wednesday, and not even every Wednesday, but every second Wednesday. And then by the time I pay the rent and get some petrol and buy my ciggies, there's just not enough left for shit like cornflakes. They expect me to pay for shit like excursions. Like, that's not even educational. Kids just get a free day off. I mean, if I had it my way, Ingrid wouldn't even go to school. She's like, what, 8 now? She could start contributing to the household. You know, she could get famous and make me millions, like Hannah Montana or something.
I like school because it's got my friends, but sometimes I always get in trouble, and that's sad. But I just mostly want to play all the time and sleep. And today I forgot my lunch and my play lunch, but nursery gave me a hot dog from the canteen.
We paid close attention to Ingrid's emotional state. She's seen some things that some children her age would not even be aware of. The lifestyle that Ingrid lives in puts her at greater risk at developing mental illness, and we do everything that we can to try and prevent this from happening. One issue that we often have to deal with is parents having low expectations of their children, and we have to work with the families and the children to help overcome this attitude.
Yes, Ingrid can be troublesome at times, but it's another situation where I felt it was important to create a relationship with her and get to know her. It can be difficult when parents aren't as involved and interested in their child's education. I mean, I'm forever chasing permission forms and trying to accommodate for all the classes that Ingrid misses. It's very hard to move on with a child to a new topic or the next topic when she's missed out on the foundations that were taught in the classes where she was absent.
Deakin Primary prides itself on being welcoming and accommodating to all students from all families. Mr. Larrikin strives to make inclusivity a priority in the classrooms and the school community.
School have made a concerted effort to educate children about other students, themselves and the wider community. It's important that we recognise the change in family. It is not the typical male, female, couple of children. The variety of gender, cultural diversity, religion plays massive parts, and we need to educate our students to understand that these families are just as important as the ones that they go home to at home. It is important for us to realise that all families are different and many are faced with circumstances that affect their children. It is our job as a school to aid these children in dealing with these problems. Also, it's important for us to give children equal opportunities to reach their highest standard of education that they wish to do.
Yes, I will have a very magical Christmas. Thank you, Crisco. Knowing and understanding classroom diversity is an increasingly important factor for primary school teachers. Family plays a central role in the child's development and can have effects on many members of the school community. No two families are the same. There are endless factors that make up the unique family dynamic for every individual in the classroom, and there is a representation of the rapidly growing, diverse nation that we are all a part of.